Big Blue Thumb Productions presents the Podlie Podcast. Here's your hosts, Podlie Bill, Podlie Cliff, and Podlie Paul.
And hello, everybody. It is the Podlie Podcast, and it is episode 139.
Holy shite, Batman. That's a lot of episodes.
Hello,
It is a lot
everybody.
of episodes.
Hello.
Hello, Paul.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, Laura's in first. Laura gets the 3,500 points tonight.
Holy Joseph. 3,500 points for Laura. 2,500 for Nicole's epic meals. Not just meals, but epic.
Monday. But epic meals.
There you go.
Meals that are epic.
They're epic. They're rather bloody epic, you know. They're
Who's,
not just meals. They're just bloody epic.
Who's
Yes.
Jehoshaphat, and why was he jumping?
We're not really sure, and we
All
don't.
right.
I think you can't even call him Jehoshaphat anymore because that's probably not politically correct.
Not politically correct.
That's
Okay,
right.
well then, jumping Joseph.
There you go. Jumping Jehoshaphat. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
we
people
have
are
to call
slowly
him,
coming in here.
yeah, we have to call him jumping Jehoz the right weight or
That's
something.
right.
Because-
Or jumping Jehoshaphat with a PH.
With a PH. There you go. That's right.
Right. That's politically
Well,
correct.
jumping Jehoshaphat is okay.
It's okay
It's
Yeah.
okay
if it's with
Yeah.
a PH.
if it's with a PH.
Right.
Now,
What
is that a
is your
PhD?
Is your pH alkaline or is it rather acidic?
Oh boy.
Well, my go-to pH is very acidic. I'd like to be a little bit acidic. When I was young, I was rather alkaline, but now I'm rather acidic.
Are you a minus
No
7?
alcohol.
That's a minus 7.
I'm on the lower end of the -7. Yes.
There you go. That's a minus
More
7.
alcohol line.
So not alkaline, but alcohol line, which begs the question: do you know what's in here? Absolutely nothing other than
Say it again.
other than water and lemon. I mean, how rude is
Wow.
that?
Yeah. What happened, Cliff?
I know it's completely ridiculous.
Something new for 2023 or?
Yeah, the first time for everything.
Yeah, clarity.
Clarity,
Clarity. That's new for 2023.
clarity is everywhere, but where is the ambiguity?
how was,
it will not be at the end of your drink.
It will not.
It
there
will
is-
not.
That is no ambiguity there.
That's no.
how was everybody's week? How was your week there, Cliff?
It was busy. It was busy.
It was busy.
Cliff, it's called you're drinking fun water. Okay, well that's good. Well, normally it's squiggly pops, right? Even though I don't drink pop, but in this case, there's no squiggly, so it's just plain water. So, but fun water, like you said. Wasn't bad, Bill. I was busy. Had a little bit of impromptu travel going on to the grand metropolis of Lloydminster. You know, other people they travel to Milan, New York, Italia, Spaniola, right? Sure. Not me, man. With me, it's Saskatoon, Lloydminster, Vegreville. I mean, who doesn't want to see an egg? I mean,
Yeah,
who would
That's
not want to
exciting.
see an egg, right?
that's
mean,
exciting for sure.
I know that's right, and that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all very rather exciting,
Good. I actually have some people on the company that I work for on my team are in Paris this week.
Oh, gee,
for
see what I
specific,
mean?
audio training. So
Is that
it'll be
Paris,
press-
Ontario?
Yeah. No, Paris, France.
Oh, Paris,
In
France.
Paris. Yeah, nice.
Mighty
eh?
holy ho to you as well, Marvin.
Do y'all ever wonder why? Because I do. Do we not have enough words in the language to have our own names?
Right? Paris, Ontario,
Because I always London, Ontario, and
London, Ontario.
not only that, right? I mean, how many streets do you know that are called Saskatchewan Street or Broadway, right? Or Alberta Avenue, etc., etc., etc. I mean, it's like it's back to the old thing that we discussed before on many occasions. I talk about Prairie View, right? You know,
Yeah.
if it's a Prairie View motel, I hate to break it to anybody, everything in Saskatchewan is Prairie View. So they have the Prairie View. I mean, let's face it, in Alberta, you have 2 hills, but that's not good enough. You also have 3 hills.
There's one place that does have 3 hills and one place that only has 2, apparently.
Exactly.
Oh, and don't
Exactly.
forget Harry Hill.
So I mean,
That's-
I don't know if we run out of words in the English language. I don't quite understand. So
Well, yeah.
yeah.
And what about you, Paul? You're still at the new job and getting your feet all wet. And
It's been exactly day 6, and yes, I'm still at the new job. Yes.
Now, Bill asked if you're getting your feet wet. I mean, should I be asking what you're doing?
are you teaching
Dude.
synchronized swimming?
I'm soaked from the nose down. Let's put it that way.
He's teaching
I am
synchronized
soaked from
swimming.
the nose down.
Hey, he's teaching swimming.
You know, guys.
Guys.
You know, I work for Employabilities. There's a lot of really hurting people out there. A lot of, and
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
You know what? You can say it because you can say it because, well, I mean, we are all intelligent people, and we know that there are people that are, down on their luck. But to see it day in and day out, every morning, every afternoon, it's really sad. It's really sad. Now, in saying that, love my job, guys.
I was just going to say, Paulie, in saying that, it must be quite rewarding to interact with these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cliff, I feel like I'm making a difference, brother.
Yeah,
I really do. I feel like I'm making a difference. Now, these people that I am working in the office with, my coworkers have been doing this 20, 30, 40 years. So I here's the thing, guys. I really don't know how they do it for this long. Like, it is, I mean, this is day 6 for me, and it's really heartbreaking. Like, guys, it's really heartbreaking. It really, really is. You hear all about these wonderful social programs that Canada has, or that that Alberta has, or that Edmonton has, or the community has, or the neighborhood has. You know what, guys? There's not enough social programs.
Got that right.
Like period, you guys. There's not enough social programs,
and I think there's not enough targeted social programs, right? There's because you got some social programs that are in abundance, and they're trying to find ways to spend their budget, and so on and so forth. And there are some social, quote unquote, social programs that are self-funded, by fundraising and whatnot. Everything from research to medical facilities to cancer to you name it. And often they are flush with dollars, even though I'm not supposed to say that. Fact of the matter is they have a lot of support. But then you have the targeted social programs that should be targeted to what perhaps could be termed the least of these, right? And I think those programs seems to be the most difficult to get funded, the most difficult funded. And I don't understand that. I mean, the need is the greatest. Why aren't resources targeted where the need is the greatest? I don't understand that.
So I'm not going to make this about my job all night, because it's not about this job. But I just want to say this, because this is a real big eye opener for me this week. I don't like my taxes going up any more than the next guy. I don't have any more money to put to give to the government. I really don't. But the fact of the matter is that, holy cow, these social programs, you guys, that are for the most part government funded, there's not enough money.
Okay, but Paulie, that's not a function of a lack of taxes. That's not a function.
There's misappropriation. There's 100% misappropriation
of you and I not paying enough taxes. Exactly. Yeah.
There's
1,000% misappropriation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that. With that.
If all of our politicians took just a couple of $1,000 pay cut, or certainly not a pay raise, and Well, some of the top CEOs, who are often, by the way, funded by our government because they're con corporations or whatever the case may be, if they took a few $1,000s off there, and I tell you what, it's not the you and I, the little tiny small fries that need to pay more taxes. It's the fact of the matter is, it needs to be allocated better.
100%.
All right. I mean, we have so many monies going, and I mean, even the arts. There are so many monies going towards grants in the arts. I don't you know me, I don't begrudge that in the slightest. I'm part of the artistic community in so many ways. So it's not like it's a bad thing. But what I'm saying is, even there's so much money that goes to grants, everything from businesses to arts to you name it. Okay. And that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes the need is the greatest where the resources seems to be lacking the most. And I don't understand that.
The point is these social programs, and Cliff, completely agree with you. There's misappropriation, misallocation, the whole 9 yards. And that's what I'm bitching about. The point is, these social programs, they need more money. Now,
final story. Absolutely.
That's exclamation mark. They need more money. They need more money. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and preach to everybody and say, hey, you know, during next election, take a really good look at who you're voting for. I'm not going to say that. But guys,
but it doesn't matter. That's the problem.
But guys, to Cliff's point, we got enough money. It's just it's these people are hurting because it's not put in the right places.
Yeah.
So, and it's sad, man, because now I see it every day, all day, and it sucks. It sucks. So, anyway.
Well, Podlie, I'm happy you're being exposed to it, my friend.
That's my pedestal.
Yeah, I'm happy you're being exposed to it. I worked downtown at the Brick for a couple of years, and let me tell you something. If you go downtown at the Brick, it's worse now. Unfortunately, I couldn't believe it. I hadn't been down there in a while. It's worse now. But the Hope Mission was right there, and everything else. And I tell you what, I used to spend 12 hours a day, and spend a lot of time, you know, stepping out the back door when there was no customers and so on and so forth. And I tell you what, first of all, you talk to everybody and you get a story from them. And it's, I tell you what, anybody who thinks that these people want to be where they are, or, you know, they don't have any sort of ambition to be elsewhere, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they're wholly wrong. They're wholly wrong. Right? I've talked to hundreds, and that's not an exaggeration. That's a true estimation. I've talked to hundreds of people around that area in the 3 years or 4 years, whatever that I was there. And man, I tell you, there are stories as diverse as anybody else's. It's the fact of the matter is that their turns were different than yours. Their turns were different than mine. Right? And that's the only difference. The turns in the road were different for them than they were for us. The turns in the road are different for me than they are for you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
For a lot of people, let me rephrase that. For some people too, it wasn't even their choices that got them in that position.
Well, of course, absolutely.
Wasn't even their choices.
Absolutely.
Like it was the, and I hate this statement. I hate this statement, but I'm going to use it. It's the cards that they have been dealt.
Yeah.
And I don't like saying that. You know, but it is true. It's the card. It's what life dealt them, and it just sucks. You know.
Yeah.
So,
well, Podlie, it's great that you're being exposed to it, my friend. I hope you take it to heart, and I hope that while you're there, you are able, and obviously you're willing, but you're able to really make a difference. And you know what? Start a campaign. I'll back you. Right? Start a campaign. You know, if we want to start something privately because the government is not stepping up, hey, maybe we can do it. I know there are programs out there. I know there are fundraising programs out there, and it doesn't have to be about funds. It could be about a lot of things. It could be about friendship. It could be about mentorship, right?
Yeah.
Could be about a lot of things, right? So hey, while you're there, get your experience, and you never know. Maybe something comes of it.
Who knows what can happen for sure.
Exactly.
Well, and it's just funny too. And I just want to just one last comment. Sorry, we're getting on a little much with this, but just one last comment too is you know, guys, there is, and again, you've heard this in the newspapers, you've heard this on the news, and you know this to be true. But man, it is true. the mental health of our society is really in epidemic proportions right now. There's a lot of people, and when I say the mental health, I'm not talking about schizophrenia. I'm not talking about dementia. I'm talking just something as just something like depression, just depression. And it's just it's at epidemic levels right now. It's just so sad. It's just so sad. You know,
and depression is just as debilitating as any other mental illness.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir, my brother. You're preaching to the choir. Yep. So, just boy, oh boy. But in saying that, I love doing what I'm doing, and I'm learning every day. So
awesome.
Yeah. No, that is good, and you keep at it, and then you will make that difference down the road for sure.
Also,
for sure. So, going back to just quickly here, some of the comments too that had come up during our conversation. Nicole says a girlfriend and I used to go to BP's, and we were fans. And we were water fans because we wanted to keep the calories down. So they made fun water for us. It was all the bar fixins: cherries, oranges, lemons, and limes.
Nice.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Oh, that's what we call this fun water. Well, the fun water was in here was some lemon and soda. That's it.
There you go. That's fun water. And then Marvin, looking forward to the Ravenwood news tomorrow, but we'll have to skip the stream for pool. So you're going swimming, Marvin, or you're playing pool. Which pool are you going to?
Well, maybe he'll have his feet wet like Podlie.
Yeah. And hey, Marvin, it is. Go ahead, Paul.
Marv, tune in next week to the Podlie podcast for our talk on priorities, Marvin.
Hey, Marvin.
Priorities, Marvin.
Marvin, you have a cell phone, right? Because it is a live stream, so you could actually probably put it on your cell phone, and everybody who's playing pool can watch.
I was gonna say there are televisions in the pool halls.
This is true.
Yeah, so it'll be live streaming. Tomorrow night, big lineup announcement, 7:00 on the Ravenwood Music Festival Facebook page. You can tune in there to watch the live stream and the lineup announcement.
And if I may say, I do know what the lineup announcement is, and I'm jacked. I don't care what anybody says. I'm jacked. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
I think it's a bloody good lineup.
It should be good.
I'm jacked about it.
Well, okay, Podlie.
Well, Laura's going to be watching.
Okay, listen, Podlie, if you're Jack, I think both Podlie and Bill and myself, Cliff, and possibly Laura and everybody else, I just think we should be frank.
Let's be frank. I'll be Jack.
Frank.
Yeah, let's all be frank.
Jack and Frank.
Let's all be frank.
Let's all be frank. Let's be frank here for a moment.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Marvin sent us an emoji.
But by the way, Bill, tell everybody how they can get on to the announcement tomorrow.
Well, just get on to the Ravenwood Music Festival Facebook page, and the live stream will be right on that page starting at 7 p.m. tomorrow. That's Mountain Standard Time for any of those that maybe are not listening from Alberta right now. But anyway, go to the page tomorrow, get there, be ready. 7:00. Won't be very long. Not a long live stream, just a live stream to get that lineup out there. And if you haven't bought your tickets now, you'll definitely want to be buying them after you hear the lineup.
Yes.
I'm Jackie rude about it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I am too. I think it's going to be rather nice.
Should be fun for sure. So anyway, well, we're already 20 plus minutes into this podcast.
There you go.
Laura says she needs to fill out her volunteer forms. There you go. Yeah, you got to get those filled out, Laura.
Chop, Chicken Louie.
Hey,
sent in.
Laura, just real quick, real quick, as you comment on the volunteer, real quick, how did you find your volunteer experience at the Ravenwood experience last year? Just talk a little bit, write down a little bit about your volunteer experience last year, because I'm very curious what your experience was. I had a hoot nanny.
A hoot nanny.
I had a hoot and a nanny. No, I did not have a hoot. Not that hoot.
Okay.
Not that hoot.
But you had it. Okay, let me get this straight. You had a nanny that was hooting.
I did not have hoots with nannies.
Okay, but you had a nanny that was hooting.
There
A
was
hoot nanny.
Well, never know. I wasn't there.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that
there's
there's
anything
anything
wrong with that.
wrong with that.
I need my symbols back here.
You need to have some sort of symbol, Cliff.
I know, right?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good. It was good. Yeah, it was good.
Excellent. So I did have throw a topic out for tonight.
Oh, did you now?
It was something along the lines of like, does what you wear make you a person, kind of thing? Like, does it make you like higher end, or how you have your haircut, or these different types of things? And I made the mistake of not having the topic up in front of me here tonight because I was busy before we started the podcast, so I usually have the topic up and ready to go. But I was kind of looking at it because sometimes you walk in your job, you have to be dressed a certain way. Now, but sometimes people have uniforms, so right, and certain jobs may require you to dress a certain way, etc. But in normal society, does what you wear tell a lot about your personality, your person? Because I know there's sometimes people out there and go, well, I'm not going to hang out with that person because they're not wearing the leather jacket or whatever that I'm wearing. They don't have the Gucci bag that I'm wearing, or whatever the
the Gucci goo bag.
Gucci goo bag.
The Gucci goo bag. It kills me. Hey, listen,
Gucci
just on an off topic, other than the Gucci goo, just on an off topic. Do you remember a show called X-Files?
Yes.
Right. So I had a little 1 second clip from the X-Files that I put as my phone ringer, phone ringer, whatever you call it, and I put it on my wife's, and every time she'd call me, the little wave file would play, and it says, "Scully, what are you wearing?" I had that on my phone. I had that on my computer. It was hilarious. Anyway, so there you go. So,
and I have to say this, Bill. Bill, you know this. I'm oddly enough, Cliff. You talked about the X-Files. As we speak, I'm working my way through the X-Files seasons. As we speak, I'm
like
on
the old X-Files.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm on season 7 now. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man, seriously, that's a crazy show.
Yeah, it's such a good show.
Yeah, but the only thing that I think to myself, they could have really used Gillian Anderson a lot more, because she's a brilliant actress. Like, she's fantastic.
She's pretty easy on the eyes too, dude.
And she's easy on the eyes, but she's a brilliant actress. I mean,
she really is. Yeah, she really is.
Did you ever see the series Charles Dickens' Great Expectations, with her playing Mrs. Havisham?
No.
Okay, you're familiar with the Dickens Great Expectations,
I read the book,
right?
Yeah, I read the book.
Yeah. Well, she played Mrs. Havisham. Holy jumping jack!
Really, eh?
Oh man, she's amazing.
She also did a great Margaret Thatcher in The Crown.
In The Crown, fantastic Margaret Thatcher. And then, of course, she had that show called The Fall, which was a detective show. Stellar acting job. She is so good. I mean, she's such a great actress.
And again, this just happened yesterday. It's very funny. I can't remember what I was doing. I was scrolling through social media, what have you. Do you guys remember? Bill, I know you are. Cliff, you're a Seinfeld fan?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you remember? Nothing wrong with that.
Do you remember the woman? Do you remember the old woman with the marble rye?
Marble rye.
Do you remember that actor? She was an old woman. Jerry stole the marble rye from an old woman. Do you remember that episode?
I'm trying to remember that one.
I'm trying to remember.
Anyway, okay. All right. Okay, I know. I'm going around.
I was in the pool.
So this actress, I can't remember her name, but she was also on an episode of X-Files.
Okay.
Okay. So, and I just found this out yesterday. She passed away, I think 2000, and I want to say 16 she passed away. This actress. She's originally from Manville, Alberta. The marble rye woman on Seinfeld is
from Manville.
She was born and raised in Manville, Alberta.
That's
I just
crazy.
found this out yesterday. Yeah.
Hey man, Alberta's generated some great talent.
Great,
for sure.
You remember the Three Horsemen on X-Files?
Yeah.
All three of them are Canadian actors.
Yes.
All three of them.
Well, it was shot in Vancouver. So
most of it was shot in Vancouver. Yeah.
I was just going to say, now that you brought up Seinfeld, and we have to go back to Marvin saying that he can't attend the live stream because of the pool. So that's his excuse going to be.
Everybody,
I was in the pool.
I was in the pool.
And Laura says Gillian Anderson in The Crown playing Margaret Thatcher is amazing. Do you know? Funny, right? John Lithgow in the first season plays Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Crown, Podlie?
No.
Have you seen it, Bill?
I've seen majority of the episodes. I haven't seen all of them. Now, Chai, she's watched them all.
All of it. If you want a clinic in acting as an actor, in acting, you watch John Lithgow play Winston Churchill.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah.
Amazing doesn't cut it. His acting role in his portrayal of Winston Churchill in that show is nothing short of absolute genius. He literally becomes Winston Churchill, and in all the frailty and all the strength and all the circumstance that he's in, everything about Churchill is encapsulated in Lithgow's performance, and it's absolutely stellar. It's literally an acting clinic. If you watch it for anything, watch it for that.
Yeah. No, it's actually a very well done series.
It's a fantastic show.
And it's interesting that the way they have done it, obviously with the different seasons and changing out actors and actresses that are playing certain roles, like Prince Charles changes, Lady Diana, the role of Lady Diana changes as the series goes on. So it's a different actress. The Queen changes.
I tell you what, the lady, what's her name, Joy something, who played the Queen at the beginning in the first season, and the guy who plays Prince Philip, who's actually in not Crown of Thorns. What's the Game of Thrones? What's the
Game
series?
of Thrones?
The follow-up series to Game of Thrones. He's in that.
House of Dragons.
House of Dragons. Yeah, he's in that. My God, he played Philip brilliantly, like the young Philip. Like we wouldn't know who the young Philip was, but he played it brilliantly. And that lady, the girl who played, I can't think of her name, who played Elizabeth. Man, oh man, where they find these people, and not only the looks and the characteristics, but then these actors, they're just so great, you know. And of course, obviously it has a lot to do with the directing and how it's put together and the script and all type of stuff. But you know, speaking as an actor, when you see these actors play these roles, man, it's so inspiring. You know, it's so inspiring.
Yeah, no, it is.
Hey, listen, I was 2 minutes late last time, or maybe even 3 minutes late. So this time I'm a little bit early. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the middle of the podcast.
You made up for it.
Even now, he's even.
I'm even now.
Yeah. You're definitely even for sure. Well, I'm waiting for my the Succession to come back. So I've been watching the series Succession, all about the Roy family, and that starts up, I think, in another month here or so, ballpark.
What family is that?
Succession. So it's based around, let me just get the proper information here, but it's based around the gentleman who owns Fox News. Pardon me?
Ted Turner?
No, Murdoch?
Murdoch. So
that's it, Murdoch.
They don't really say it, but it is the series and the whole family base is loosely based around Murdoch.
Oh, really?
And stars Brian Cox who plays Logan Roy, who's kind of the head of the family, and they own all these huge news networks and amusement parks, et cetera, et cetera. And it's very, very well done. Jeremy Strong plays the son in it.
Good actor.
Yeah. Kieran Culkin plays a really cool role in it as well, actually. So if you ever get a chance to see it,
It's called Succession.
It's called Succession. So season 4 should be out soon here, and I think they're only going to do 5 seasons.
Oh wow!
What's it streaming on? Is it streaming on?
It's on. It should be on Crave. I think you can catch all the old seasons on Crave. I know they've been replaying. They've been replaying them now on Sunday nights as they get toward the regular season again. But yeah, very, very well done. Very well acted. And
boy, I might have to check that out.
Yeah, yeah. So that should be coming back.
Anybody watch Yellowstone or the prequels?
I started watching Yellowstone. I've watched the first couple episodes, but then I just haven't gotten back to it.
Yeah, the acting's really good. Costner, who I'm not actually a big Costner fan, he's really good in that. My only thing is it got a little bit soapy. Like it's a little bit soapy, you know, the family dynamic.
That's what I was finding. I was having trouble getting into it, and then I've talked to people that have said, "Oh no, you got to get through the first 3 or 4 episodes."
Yeah,
then you're gonna be hooked, right?
Yeah, it's funny, Bill. You should mention that because that was told to me as well. Because like I like the premise and I like the first couple of episodes were really good. But then as they got into the more family dynamics, it started becoming a little bit kind of soapy for my taste anyway. And keep in mind, I'm not this person vehemently opposed to soaps and all. I mean, come on, I watched The Crown. I've watched every episode, I think, for 5 seasons of Abbey, what's that? Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
So we've watched them all too.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen the last season yet. I don't think, or 2 seasons. I can't remember now. But
we got the full box. We have the full box set. So
oh, you do, eh? No, I was watching. I can't remember what we were watching it on. But anyway, so I missed. I think we have 2 seasons. But that's a great show. Downton Abbey's a great show. But no doubt about it, it's a little soapy too. It's just a different kind of soapy, right? It's a different kind of soapy, right?
Yeah, a little less bubbles in that one.
Yeah, but Yellowstone. But I think you're right. I think we need to get past maybe a few episodes because I hear great things about it. And then, of course, now they have 2 prequels, right? 1883 and 1893. Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be a lot of shows. I don't know if I have that kind of time.
Yeah, and I haven't. There's lots of different series that I'd like to catch up on for sure.
Yeah,
that are out there that people are great. I just want to say hi to William, by the way. William has joined us.
William Seltzer, nice of you to show up, my friend. Can you do it a little bit earlier next time?
He's apologizing that he's late because he knows.
Sorry, William. It's my job to give a hard time to absolutely anybody who shows up late. You know, I'm the guy that normally says it's about time he showed up. So welcome to the show. Or whatever this
welcome to the past of the middle of the podcast.
Welcome to the past of the middle of
the podcast. Welcome to the last half of the podcast. William, you won't believe what you missed in the first half. It was absolutely intriguing.
It was intriguing. Now you're just gonna have to go back and watch that banter.
Yeah, it was just intriguing and enlightening.
Because anything that you've seen might not be so intriguing, but everything that you have not seen is always very intriguing.
That whole first half was so intriguing and enlightening, William. You got to go back to watch it.
And you have to go back and watch it because otherwise the whole rest of the season isn't going to make any sense.
It's not going to make any sense. That's right. It's so tightly, our script is so tightly wound, right?
Right. Yeah. And you might find as we get into like episode 140, we're becoming a little soapy. Right. So,
okay, so back to the topic.
Okay, back to the topic.
Okay, do you want me to actually read the actual topic then?
Yeah, read that actual topic there.
Okay, well, talk amongst yourselves.
Well, they always do on the chat, so
they always do on the chat anyway, right? So, okay, finding the topic. The topic is: does what you wear make a difference on how you are accepted at work or in your community, etc.? And does your height make a difference? So I suppose we can translate that to appearance, because obviously some people don't have a problem with height, like me or you or Podlie. I mean, we don't have a problem with height. So let's talk about appearance. And then, of course, hair color, etc. Now, that doesn't apply to me, of course. So
For that part of the discussion, Cliff will be on hiatus.
I hate it. Okay. So that is the question, and I think the person that should start all of this is the person that did not come up with the topic. In other words, Podlie, that leaves you.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
This is
Here's
going to be a
the
long
thing.
story, so I'm just going to relax.
Just chill out, relax.
No, here's the thing. So I totally agree. I think that I think that a manner of dress is very important in certain situations. Case in point, work. I do agree that a doctor should wear scrubs, and I do agree that a lawyer should be dressy. And
Okay, but hold on. Right there, though, the question begs: if you saw a lawyer in scrubs, and is he any less of a lawyer? Or if you saw a doctor in a suit, is he any more of a doctor or less of a doctor?
Well, that's okay. Is he giving me a proctology exam? Because then I would say yes.
What do you mean? He's like the lawyer?
The lawyer. Then I would say yes.
Depends on the law.
This is true. This is true. Okay. Now, however, this is what this is kind of what I want to ask when I did see this wonderful topic there, Bill. Now, in the last 3 years since COVID, everybody and a lot of companies have turned to online meetings. Bill, you can sure attest to this. Now,
Yes.
here is my devil's advocate question. Where normally you would go to the office and you would be, formal, casual, whatever, right? At the office. Why is it important to wear the same clothes when you're doing a meeting online? That's what I'd like to know. Do you still have to be in suit and tie, or do you still have to have the same clothing parameters if you are on a Zoom meeting versus if you were in the office? That's what I would like to know. And for most of the offices, from what I understand, it's true. You have to wear the same clothes when you're on a Zoom meeting as you would in an office. Why is that important?
Well, I think in my business, it's pretty casual. So in the first years I was in the business, which was like over 20 years ago, it was suit and tie. But then it became a lot more casual, just because we'd go to clients' places and they're all dressed casually, and we walk in suits and ties. So that kind of all changed. So even when we do we still do a lot of meetings on Zoom and Teams because I have to, because I have clients all across Western Canada. So unless I'm on the road every single day of the week, I can't. I do it over Teams Zoom. So we're just dressed casually. We don't wear suits or ties or anything like that. Maybe again, if you're a law office or something like that, and it fits, maybe that's the reasoning to why you might wear a suit and tie. The one thing when you're doing a Zoom call, and Paul, you'll relate to this, is you can wear a suit jacket, a tie, and a shirt, but you don't have to wear pants because nobody's going to see you. So you're that's kind of. Is that business casual? No pants and just a shirt tie and a suit jacket?
There's been some crazy stories about Zoom meetings, right?
Yeah, accidentally standing up and not knowing that the camera was still on you.
Are you kidding me? The one guy, the one, I don't know, the one executive, he got caught masturbating on a Zoom meeting. I can't remember who it was now. I think it was with CNN or something. But but yeah, so I mean, it's like, in my mind, I think perhaps maybe not the same clothes, but I think some dress and deportment is definitely necessary in a Zoom meeting. I mean, I think it's respectful to the people whom you're meeting with. I mean, if I'm meeting with I don't know, let's say somebody who is dressed in a suit at work and they're at work and I'm at home, I would feel terribly underdressed if I showed up in a black t-shirt and gray sweats and a 3-day beard, right? Because obviously he's taken the time or she's taken the time to dress and present themselves well. Just because I'm at home, it should be easier for me to do that. So from a perspective of saying, hey, it's just respectful to the other people on the meeting, I would say that I'm not saying dress the same. I mean, if I had to wear a suit and tie to the office all day, I don't know necessarily that I would dress up in a suit and tie to have a half an hour Zoom meeting if that's my only meeting, right? But you still have to be presentable, right? I mean, you still have to be shaven, all that sort of stuff. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure.
So the basic question, though, is, do clothes
Well,
make the man or the woman? Is the question are
yeah,
there biases that are currently in place when you see somebody dressed a particular way? Does it change how you interact with that person?
well,
Am I summarizing that
uh,
well, Bill?
yeah, and it's almost like say you're in a bar or a restaurant, for an example, and in one corner of the bar you've got all these people that the girls are all dressed to the nines. They all look like models, and the guys are all like 6'1", and they all look like models, and they kind of have all their group together. And then you don't see anybody like our height or anything hanging out with
Anybody
them.
outside that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and is it because, well, I'm not 6'1" and I don't look like a model, and I don't look the same maybe in a suit that the 6'1" guy
Or you're
does,
not the
or
same age.
different or not same age, and so all of a sudden you're not included as part of that group. They kind of look at you and go, oh, hi, yeah, and they push, they slough you off because you just don't fit, because you're
Correct.
not the good looking person and that kind of thing. So I was kind of looking at these different types of kind of groups that you kind of see grouped together, and things like that. And I was watching a real estate show the other night, and of course all the realtors look like models.
Yeah, every last
Guys,
one.
and the girls and stuff. So then you think, well, in order to sell real estate, you have to be 6'1" and look like a male model,
Unless you're a woman.
unless you're a woman, of course.
Or selling birdhouses.
They're selling birdhouses. But yeah, so I just I just kind of looked at it like, if you walk down the street, you try to say hi to a group like that, they kind of, oh, hi, but they kind of brush you off because you don't look like them, or whatever the case might be, right?
Well, I tell you, there's a couple of ways to look at it, right? One way you can look at it is that humans are so terrible that we would ostracize people who are not like us, and we would separate people who are not like us. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is perhaps, and you talk about devil's advocate, Paul. Here's a typical one. Perhaps it's because people gravitate to whom they think is like them, so therefore they can relate.
Yeah.
Right.
Or who they'd like to be, or who they'd like to become.
Possibly. I think there's a certain small percentage of the population that pander to the other people because they want to be like them. They want to, they want to hang with them. They want to be part of that group, and then they sort of grovel, I guess, whatever the word is, to try and fit in. But I'm not even talking about that. I mean, that I would suspect that that's a smaller group of people, but I think as a general rule, I think people want to be understood. Okay, so I'm going to take this in a different direction here that perhaps is the normal, but I think people in general, myself included, and I think everybody can relate, wants to be understood and wants to be seen and wants to be part of something, as you mentioned, Podlie. So I think when people see, if they're dressed and in a certain way and all that sort of stuff, when they see another person like that, they expect or suspect that person has similar ideals, similar goals, similar maybe financial resources, whatever the case may be, where they can form that relation, right? The negative being that if you don't dress or you don't look like that, you could still have all of the same characteristics, just they won't know about it, right? And the last thing I'll say is, it's not only on the 6'2" and the handsomes and the beautifuls and the rich that shy away from anybody outside of their ilk. I think it's the other way around as well. I think that the people who are the short people, or the not so good looking people, or the not so rich people, etc., I don't think they themselves either wish to go and interact, because maybe they don't feel comfortable in doing that, right?
Mhm.
So I
Yeah,
think
no,
it
definitely.
goes, honestly, I think it goes both ways.
Right. And I think how this topic kind of came into my head was, again, watching this real estate show, and they were talking to it was a scene with an owner of one of these real estate companies, and he was talking about a new realtor that had joined them, and the new. He's talking about this new realtor. He's great looking. He's gonna fit in well, et cetera, et cetera. And I was thinking, so okay, he's great looking. He's going to fit in well, and that kind of thing. So if I was to go and interview with that particular owner of that real estate company, and I'm 5'4.5" or whatever it is, and I walk in there, are they going to say, well, and I've sold millions of dollars in real estate, and maybe this new guy is only just starting and hasn't sold a lot of real estate, but because he's 6'1", he's good looking, and he's the model type, which the owner was a male, by the way, says, makes the comments about how good looking he is, he's going to fit right in, et cetera, et cetera. So I walk in there and I don't get hired because I'm 5'4.5", even though I've maybe sold millions of dollars in real estate, but I'm not 6'1", and I don't look like that guy does in a suit, and et cetera, right?
Do you think that having a dress code at work, do you think it's all about bondage? I mean, bonding.
Well,
Well,
bonding.
It depends on the suit.
Depends.
Okay, and
could be about bondage. It just depends on the suit.
That's right. That's right. No, do you think it's all about bonding? And what I mean by that is, lawyers will wear all of these wonderful Armani suits, and they're beautiful in their 3-piece suits, and wonderfully, beautiful by virtue of the fact that, well, they can afford it, right? Yes, Chaya, I did that purposefully. It was a Freudian. So these lawyers, but a lot of the time, you guys, I would hazard to say more times than not, these lawyers will be representing people that are not in Armani suits, and that are not in $500 loafers or this, that, and the other thing. So then I guess my question becomes, why should a lawyer wear these Armani suits? Who they are representing are not in the same socioeconomic level that they are. Like, why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Well, and again, I think it's just that profession, right? Very, like Chai just made a comment that our lawyer, we've never seen. I don't think I've seen him in a suit. She says she hasn't seen him in a suit. He's quite casually dressed. Now, obviously, I'm assuming he would be in a suit if it was something major that he had to attend or be part of. But I think it's kind of that profession. And you talked, Paul, about you want to see your doctor wearing scrubs. Well, a lot of doctors wear suits or dress pretty casually. My regular family doctor, who retired a while back, but every time I went in, he was just in golf shirts and jeans. That's the way he was dressed when I went into his office, and that's the way he liked to dress. Was in a golf shirt and usually jeans, and I like a loafer shoe. That's what he wore, and that was his thing, right?
And I think it's the appropriateness of it, number one. Number two, Paulie, I tell you what, in many ways, I think if you put on a suit and a tie and you dress well, and perhaps you have, I don't know about an Armani suit, but if you have a nice suit and you've cleaned up well and all that sort of stuff, I think you carry yourself differently. And I think that makes a difference how people respond to you. Okay, because we often blame the other person when they respond to us in a certain way. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, yet in the same breath, we'll say, okay, but what you put out in the world is reflected back to you, right? So I think a lot of us, when other people behave a certain way toward us, we instantly, quote unquote, for lack of a better word, blame them. But the fact of the matter is, in the same sentence, you can say, well, what you put out there is what is reflected back to you, right? So in my mind, let's say you put on a nice suit. I mean, I dressed for probably 10 years of career in a full suit. double piece suit or whatever, and always a crisp white shirt and a nice tie and yada yada yada. But I think what happens is when you look after yourself in that way. Now, I'm not saying suit; it could be any whatever dress you choose. But I think when you go through that, I think you carry yourself differently, and therefore you put a different vibe out there, and then perhaps that vibe is returned to you, either be it positively or negatively, whatever the case may be. But I think often we ourselves have a lot to do with how other people react or etc. with us. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And Marvin says, and I'll put this one up. I think one of the things you are missing are dress codes at work are usually to attract customers. If I wore scrubs while fixing a copier, the customer may think twice about renewing our contract.
And again, that lends itself to the bigger picture, Marvin, is exactly what we're talking about, right? Whether you're working and have the suit on for work, or whether you're not working and have the suit on for work, whatever the case may be, fact of the matter is you are being tagged. I don't want to say judged, but you're being tagged based on your appearance, and I guess that's what the topic of the salient point in this discussion is that, right? So, but I think it's more of that, though. Honestly, I believe in many ways that it's about what you're putting out there on how you're dressed. See, and I mean, think about a wedding, right? I mean, you look at the bride; she goes through a significant amount of effort to look the part of the bride and beautiful and all these things. And every woman, barring a few outliers, goes through that. And same with the men. If not the men themselves, I don't know why they wouldn't, but if not the men themselves, certainly the bride ensures that the men are dressed well, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. I've photographed out of all the weddings that I photographed one where they sort of didn't, have any kind of a dress code of any kind for the groomsmen or the bridesmaids or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they all still dressed well. They just dressed differently. They didn't have the bridesmaids' dresses all look the same. They didn't have the suits all look the same because they had a choice what to wear. But guess what? They all looked great.
Yeah.
Nobody came in gray sweats and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Right. So there are certain circumstances where the dress and deportment has an effect on the people whom you interact with, not necessarily all the time, vice versa. Maybe it's you, maybe it's the vibe you're putting out there.
Right. And I think when you're talking about things like weddings or, a gala event or I'm talking event side now, not work side, but, obviously for those, you're getting dressed up because, it's that type of an event. So, you're not going to go to a gala event wearing your shorts and t-shirt. Right. So,
yeah.
Okay. Seriously. Can we talk about me for a second here?
We only have a few minutes left, Paul.
Okay. Seriously. No, okay. Let's take my so I'm sorry. I'm cheeky tonight. Let's take my job here for an example. I have to wear business casual Monday to Thursday, Friday is casual day. Anyway, business casual. So I wear a tie. Now, I am working directly with my coworkers that are also wearing business casual, but I am also working directly with people from A, different socioeconomic backgrounds than myself, B, that have a lot of physical, emotional, and mental barriers as well. So 9.9 times out of 10, they are not in ties and suit jackets. They are in ripped jeans with sneakers and ball caps, and they may or may not have showered that day or that week, quite frankly, and quite honestly. So herein lies my question. Do you think I would get do you think I would get maybe a different connection from these people? And do you think that would make my job easier if I dressed maybe more casual?
Not necessarily.
I don't think so. And you're dressing business casual already.
I am, but
So
these people that I'm working directly
suit.
from are not. So
okay,
maybe
but Podlie,
I would get better results. Maybe I would get better results.
No, I don't think so.
People. Okay, now why?
I wouldn't buy that because I tell you what, First of all, you are the leader in that classroom. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, you're the mentor. Number three, you are possibly the example, right? So the fact of the matter is, if you as a person sort of set the stage to say, if you want to be gainfully employed, you have to look after your appearance. Now, we can't change certain things. I can't change this. That's me, right? I can't change like whatever. I can't change my height, etc., etc. But I can have a shower, right? I can have a shave, notwithstanding homeless people. I know that's outside of this particular comment. But I can have a shower and I can have a shave, and hopefully I can put on a shirt. But why put on a crinkly shirt when I could spend 5 minutes ironing it, right? And all of these things lend itself to how you are treated. And going back to my earlier comments, it's not necessarily based on what the person is doing and treating you a certain way. It might very well be the vibe that you're putting out. Because if I show up to a job and I haven't showered in 3 days and I'm wearing gray sweatpants and a ripped t-shirt and perhaps some sort of a torn hat or whatever the case may be, as an employer might look at that and say, you don't have enough ambition to look after your own self. How are you going to look after the business of my business?
There's no pride. There's no pride.
Right? So, but then you can't blame the employer for that. That's the vibe you're putting out. You're putting out the vibe that says, I don't care about my appearance. That's not important to me. Well, then what other things do you not care about?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So in terms of that, I think a lot has to do with how we present ourselves. But when we are more presentable, we present ourselves in a much more positive light, and therefore the reaction or response is in kind. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely makes sense for sure.
I 100% agree with you. We and you said this, Cliff, and I agree with you. We are setting the standard. Now we set the standard. Now in my work, what they ask of their clients is that they walk into our classrooms, they walk into our offices, they walk into our initiatives as if they are going to work. That's the standard. Yep. That's what we hope. And that's 100% accurate, Cliff. We are setting the standard. We are presenting we are presenting our organization as if it was the job.
The job, exactly. And that makes perfect sense, right? Because if you show up for that, well groomed, all that type of stuff, then if you're mentoring somebody to an employment, now you can vouch for that person and say, listen, he's been in my class every single day, or she's been in my class every day. She looks after herself. You know, she comes in looking well put together, well kept, as opposed to unkempt, right? And that could be and if you show a little bit of pride in that, I think it's going to translate to other things. The problem is, and let me just say this, I think a lot of the times people, people dress a certain way and they think that dress is a mutually exclusive thing in comparison to the rest of their lives. Well, no, because it's all relative, right? If you don't look after yourself, then the chances are likely there are other parts of your life that you're not going to look after. And some of those parts of the life that you're not going to look after is going to roll over into the employer's business. And then that's going to be detrimental to their business. So obviously then the reaction or the response is going to be, well, somewhat telltale. It's going to be, you could probably guess what the response is going to be, right? And if you show up to an interview looking terrible, what makes me think you're going to show up to the job looking better? There's no reason to believe that, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, well, we're down to 1 minute there.
1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for showing up on MLM Must Listen Monday. It was a fast and quick and down and dirty discussion today. It was good fun. Started out with some interesting and very interesting and very relevant points to our current world, which is of course where Podlie is working. And then we moved on to other things. But listen, you guys were here. We thank you for being here and engaging with us and chatting with us and so on and so forth. And please do show up next Monday. please do share this if you enjoyed it, because obviously we're trying to build the subscriber list, and we have a grand total of 21, I believe. Gee, it would be nice to have 22.
22, 23, 30.
23. So please do share it with your friends, and try and bring some more people on board. It'd be much more fun to get the chat lit up. So thank you for being here. And if for some reason you're missing this live, then Bill,
Well, you can rewatch it on the YouTube channel for sure, because they are there all the time, and or listen to the audio portion on Sound Sugar Radio on Friday nights at 10 p.m. You can tune in
Friday
there
nights.
and just listen to the audio with all your friends. And of course, last reminder, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock on the Ravenwood Music Festival Facebook page. Tune in for the live stream lineup announcement for the 2023 festival. And Marvin, don't be in the pool. You do have a phone. You can tune in right there. No excuses.
So, folks, this is The Last of Us for this week. See what I did there?
Yeah, 2 episodes in.
I haven't seen the episodes yet. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I love it.
All right, everybody. See you next Monday for number 140.
Stay happy.